I call this meeting to order. This is the Palisades Board of Education's regular meeting on Wednesday, October 15, 2025. The meeting starts at 6:37 p.m. at the Early Child Center, 271st Street, Palisades Park, New Jersey. Everyone please stand up for the flag salute. Mr. Banners,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Tom, present. Mr. Anthony Kim.
Here.
Ms. Rebecca Lee.
Present.
Ms. Soo-Kyung Park.
Yes.
Ms. Boyoung Yoo. Here. Mr. Aaron Pat.
Here.
Mr. Jun Min. Mr. Sergio Payet.
Here.
Mr. Carl Albano.
Here.
Mr. Emilio DeAndrea.
Here.
Bush Lover.
Here.
And Tyler John. In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, I hereby state the notice of this regular meeting has been provided to the public by a written notice dated January 15, 2025. The meeting notice has been emailed to all staff members at the district school locations, communicated to the record, filed with the Board of Clerk of Palisades Park, and posted on district website. Before we go on to discuss agendas in working session, we need to conduct the interview to the board vacancy. And before that, I'd like to suggest and make a motion to all my board members to establish the rules of the interview process. So since this is just a 2 or 3 months position, that I will try to keep it simple, but keeping all the formality that is required by our policy. And so, but I like to limit some questions to very standard form, 1 or 2. And if any member like to add more questions and spend time with questions, let me know. And probably each of us can give 1 additional question or 2. And then once we have all candidates to be interviewed here in public, and we need to go to the project session, not just for this question about this interview, but also to further discuss about other personnel matters that we need to discuss in our working session. If we all agree on this, or if there's any suggestions and any objections, that please share your opinion.
I mean, I don't think we need these rules in place. I don't understand why you need to limit in such a way.
First of all, we have many agendas today to deal with and discuss. We are expecting a long meeting to include 2 presentations by our superintendent.
And I understand you asking and requesting to keep it short, and understanding that we understand the time limits. But to say that we are limited to whatever, I think we don't know. In an interview, you don't know what they're going to say, so it depends upon what the discussion becomes. You can't just predict what someone's going to say and say, okay, I'm not going to ask any questions about this matter or background.
But this is public meeting, and if the board members agree on certain stuff, like, for example, when we had the interview process for the superintendent or the secretary, we had the experience. Think about it, that wasn't out in the public, and still we had the rule that previously set to go over, to keep it in good shape and to be effective and fair to everyone who's attending as a candidate, also here to spend their time in the meeting, that we don't want to hold that long.
I understand making a request. To make it a rule is, I think, is unusual and not appropriate.
That was actually it was suggested by our attorney as well too.
Yeah, so the board policy requires the board to do an interview in public. Often boards will agree on a set of questions for each candidate so that it's fair and they get a chance to answer the same questions as the other one. There's no possible appearance of favoritism. There's a lot of follow-up questions for one and not another, or some things of that nature. And I suggested that there wasn't going to be unanimous consent on that, and the board could consider making a motion to set the rules and set that way, so that there's a chance to discuss it.
It's fine if there's like a chance that someone will ask 10 questions, but basically, besides a couple of us, no one asks any questions. I mean, let's come down to reality here.
I think perhaps that's part of the issue, is that by trying to address it beforehand, Sue's trying to make it so that she's not responsible for making that decision as to who's asked enough and when it's been too long, and having stepped in, and that way there's some kind of uniformity amongst it, that, you know, that there's a set standard that everyone can understand what the expectations are, and hopefully no one's going to abuse Sue.
Why can't that be made as a request and not as a rule? It is, I think, is overreach, and I don't understand why that would be necessary. That we have never run super long or anything like that. So the necessity of coming to this point, I don't understand it, and I don't expect that this will take that long. But I don't know why that's being
So
anticipated.
what you want is that we are allowed to vote.
I would like you to make maybe a request, and it should be based upon past experience of where, if it took over long in something else, I kind of understand it, but
If you're talking about the past practice, we never done this before. When the
Right.
last person was filled up with the vacancy in 2022, there's no even interview process either.
Yeah, because there were no other candidates, but I don't think it should be a rule, I think it should be a request like both said, because as per what the candidates, what their replies are, there's other questions that may rise. So there are certain questions that none of us thought of until their reply. So
This is
it
probably-
shouldn't just be like, you're limited to, and keep it short, you know?
It's not that I'm limiting, I'm setting the
Yeah, you could just request
process of
it.
this interview things, the rules. So, again, like if you like to give any questions, address it to me, then I'll recognize you to speak. I'm not limiting your voice, but I'm asking all board members and everyone to work their preference to have the rule to give our candidates more fairness for both of them. For example, if you give one candidate a question, spectrum question, you have to give it to another candidate as well too. And we may or may not split each candidate to interviews in the public. We may ask one candidate to stay outside while the other is in. So those are kind of rules we need to set. So we kind of reviewed or like parliamentary rules and this kind of interview process as well. So I'm suggesting that I believe by also our attorney's advice as well to it's effective for us to set the basic simple rule for this interview. So may I have a motion
Why are we
to set the
wasting
interview?
attorney fees on something like this?
That's
So
why I was
simple.
asking, that was actually my response
Why
to
do
your
you make it an
email.
issue? Just make a request, of course we'll follow a request. Try to make it short, don't ask too many questions, don't elongate it. Please don't elongate it, like,
That's what
That's
I
it.
asked you to, right? My email clearly stated to you, and it was you respond to me that had equal
you
return.
did not say it as a request, you said it as an order.
No, it's not order.
Well,
I
that's the way
asked
it came
you
across.
to give us any question you want to raise. Okay, see, again, this is like a waste of time.
Yes,
Unnecessary
it's our
debate.
time.
So may I, so let's just clear the mayor, I just suggest to what I think that's the best way to go conduct the interview for this 2-3 months position. So, okay, let's just decide here. May I have a motion to set the rule for interview? If you don't make a motion, that I can make a motion. May I have a, I'd like to make a motion to set the rule for this interview, to fill the vacant position for the board members.
I'll make a second.
Mr. Lee, could you take a roll call, please?
Mr. Trump,
Yes?
Mr. Henry
Yes.
Mr. Zachary,
No, because I don't think it's necessary to make it a rule.
Mr. Van Park,
Yes.
Ms. Borlanger,
No?
Mr. Aaron Heck, Mr. Sergio Pyatt,
Yes.
So the motion passed. So, my suggestion is that to set a standard question such as why do you want to be a member of the school board in the district? Or why do you think you are qualified to be a school board member in Palisades Board of Education? And you can certainly give them your questions if you wish. But please make sure to give each candidate fairly, the same way. And this is always best to have
That's what I've seen done often, it makes sense to me, because that way, I guess it makes more sense if there's a set of questions, but, you know, that way, there's no advantage of going second.
Okay, so number 3 rule is to,
I want this to be on definitely the minutes, because I do feel this is an infringement of freedom of speech. So
so
please make sure it's codified in the minutes.
oh, we actually,
a little loud, please, I can hear you well.
we have actually our camera, this is official camera that will be reserved, right? So each candidate will be interviewed one-on-one, while the one person is here, the other person in the other room. And after all the interview session, question answer is done, then the board will go on the closed session for further personnel matters. And we will come back and we'll vote in regular session at the end of the discussion. Mr. Lee, how many candidates did they apply?
We have 2 candidates.
Are they all present here?
One total is Mr. Ray Park here, and yes, they're both.
Thank you. So who applied first?
Mr. Anthony Lopez.
Okay, then could you have Mr. Park stay outside and the board please you once it's done. Thank you. then I put the chair there or?
Yeah, well, I guess, Mr. Tubman,
Mr. Rotundo, could you please sit in front? Okay, let me Mr. Rotundo. Thank you for applying.
Can you speak louder? We can't hear you.
What?
Can you speak louder?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Rotundo. Thank you for applying for this position. And we'll just give very simple questions as we discussed earlier. And why do you want to be a member of the school board in this district?
Well, being a lifelong resident here in Palisades Park, having a long history here, I've dealt with many of the issues that you're dealing with in various ways. I've been a teacher, been an administrator, was a board member for a little while, and now as a property manager, I run monthly meetings with my board of directors along with residents. I'm well versed in Robert's rules and how to run meetings and keep order during meetings. And frankly, I'd rather be on the board helping you rather than being more of an adversarial position sitting out here. I know that it's a temporary position, so I figured in the next 2 or 3 months I could bring a lot of the experience that I have had, not just sitting on your side of the table, but also the experiences that many of your teachers go through and administrators go through, because I've dealt with all of those types of things. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring that experience and help you guys educate some of you in more of the ways that things should be done on the board. If things work out, and see what happens maybe in the next election if I decide to run for a full position for that.
Thank you. Why do you think you are qualified to be a school board member in our district?
Well, as mentioned, I have been in education for most of my career. At this point, I'm 7 years in property management, but I had over 10 plus years of education experience working in the classrooms as a high school social studies teacher, or going into Pagoda and being their director of curriculum and instruction, which was basically the assistant superintendent. That was the left hand of the superintendent, whereas the right hand was more of the business administrator. Working very closely with teachers. At that point, we were going through a lot of changes, especially with next generation science standards and new math standards, and everything had to be updated there. I successfully went through a QSEC experience with Pagoda, which had not been done for many years before that point. With the abolishment of that position, I then went to different districts, Edgewater, Ridgefield Park, helped them with their own QSAC experiences as they moved forward, and then decided to switch careers and move into property management, which you would not know, but a lot of those skills are sort of the same. Empathy, responsibility, communication are the 3 things that I bring with me, and those are also good reasons why I think that I would be a good board member with you guys.
Thank you. Any other board members who want to give Mr. Rotundo any questions?
Mr. Rotundo, you see the way that this moves as a block. How would you, what would be methods?
A little loud, please.
What are the methods you would use to counteract some of that? Or do you feel like, actually, never mind, that's another question.
So I think that in some cases what I see is almost as if the communication isn't as strong as it should be ahead of meetings. Is it a possibility that maybe agendas aren't going out early enough that you have enough time to ask questions before the meeting itself? Whether or not that there are certain ways of making sure that when a motion is brought up and who's allowed to ask questions, when questions are allowed to ask. I know unfortunately sometimes I get a little frustrated and I might call out something during the meeting which I know I'm not allowed to do. But it's all in good faith, trying to help you guys along with moving forward in the way that the agenda really should be moved forward with. Which again is another reason why I would like to join you on the board and help with those type of things. I would say more open communication prior to meetings might make the meetings run a little bit more smoothly. Again, you guys run the Q&A session the way that you would like to run it. I think that
in some cases by answering questions after everyone has already asked their questions, and there's elongates the Q&A, because what you're really, you might have 4 or 5 people in the audience that have the same question, that if maybe you answered them at the time of the question, it might move it along a little bit quicker rather than have the 5 or 6 people ask the same question and then get one answer at the very end of it. Just those little things, they're trying to make it move a little bit more smoothly.
Thank you. Any other board members? Any questions or comments on Mr. Rotundo? Let's go to the switch. If not, thank you, Mr. Rotundo.
Can I say one more thing? Just
Yeah.
in closing. So again, I love this district. It wouldn't be still here if I didn't. My great-great-grandparents immigrated here, lived there our entire lives. My son is now in this district. And whereas I always took education seriously and I loved what I did, it takes on a bigger importance now that he's here. I don't want to leave this district. I don't want to try and find another place to go. I like being here. I like representing this town. That's why I'd like to get on the board and help you guys, because the last couple of years have been kind of scary. So I'd like to help you guys in doing that, and that's pretty much what I'd like to say in closing. I hope that I'm a good fit for you guys. If not, you'll still see me here representing my son and other people. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you can leave it there.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are. And then I will go wait for you.
Good evening, Mr. Rayback. Thank you for coming tonight and applying for this position. So we have basic 2 questions and other board members if they have additional demand. So my first question is, why do you want to be a member at the school board in this district?
Well, I'm a young parent per se. My oldest one is about 2.5 right now, and I have a 6-month-old. But I've been residing in Palisades Park for 7 to 8 years roughly. I see myself staying here, and I do want to be a part of my kid's life one way or the other. But obviously, education is very important, in my opinion at least. So I want to do what I can from the background, be involved in the community towards education, and do what I can for my kids in the community. At the end of the day, I think everyone has the same goal in mind, their children and their best interest. So.
My second question is why it's pretty relevant to the first one. Why do you think you are qualified to be a school board member?
Realistically, I'm sure there are many more people qualified than me. But if I were to give my background as simply as possible, I am a math education major. I'm not in the teaching field right now. I decided to go with a career path, but I always had a passion for teaching. I've tutored on the side for probably 10 plus years. I've coached high school football for 6 years. So all in all, I genuinely do like kids and working with them, teaching them, and being a role model, being an example of anything I can. So yeah, again, it's not amazing. There's going to be way more qualified people, but that's what I can offer. And I am green, but I am willing to take in the information like a sponge.
Thank you, Mr. Park. Board member, do you have any questions to Mr. Rayback? Thank you, Mr. Rayback. And then we will actually formally go to later on in the session. So, would you please sit back? Thank you. We have a motion to go closed session to discuss personnel matters.
I have a motion.
Second.
And so, second, all in favor? No objection? Thank you. All right, we'll be back in 15 minutes to discuss personnel matters, not just about interview, but other further personnel matters that we will discuss on the working session. Thank you for waiting. We'll be back. So everyone, thank you for waiting. And before we move on to the work session, I want to give Mr. Bano to recognize a person that he was going to do a superintendent report in regular session, but you don't need to let him wait until then. So would you please go ahead?
Absolutely. So it's an honor for me to invite up our athletic director, Mr. Eliapis, and our varsity coach here? Coach, there you are, Coach DeGennaro. And they're going to talk about a very, very impressive young man who has won a very prestigious award in New Jersey athletics. And I got a chance to see him on the field last Friday at a very exciting homecoming game. But I think Dino and Coach can really give you a lot better detail than me. So please, take it away.
So Shane Armstrong received the Athlete of the Week award for North Jersey, and it's a big deal with regards to athletics. In every high school you walk into, you'll see an athletic Athlete of the Week wall or commemorating all the athletes that received it. It's a big deal. So in our school we have the same. Only 13 athletes in school history ever received it, and he will be the 14th. Congratulations to him. And 5 previous football player making him the 6th. So just letting you know that it's a special honor. He'll be, his face will be up in the halls in Palisades Park forever, and that's a great thing. I never got it, but I couldn't be prouder of him. Watching him on the field is a joy. I'll talk a little bit about last week's game. His performance on the field actually got him NJIC Conference Player of the Week. This week he got Defensive Player of the Week. Last week just tells you what kind of athlete he is, and he's even as great of an athlete as he is, he's even a greater kid. And so I couldn't be prouder of him. I see him in the hallways every day. I'm so happy for him. I congratulate him all the time. He's a leader on the field, and it just shows. You can see it. I don't know, Coach DeGennaro, like to add anything else?
Yeah, Shane is exactly what you want when it comes to representing Palisades Park. He's a Tiger in every sense of the word. We came in this year with the idea of building this new culture, and he's been at the forefront of that. He's a leader. He leads the team. He leads the kids. He's somebody the coaches can rely on to get stuff done on and off the field. And we're just so proud of him. We're so proud that he can be immortalized in the halls of Pal Park. And the future is bright for him. I'm happy to have him. I'm happy to have the opportunity to coach him. And, this is all for him. So congratulations, buddy, and I'm so proud of you.
And this is on behalf of the Board of Education. We're proud of you.
Good job, Shane.
All in favor? Abstention? Thank you. So the board will discuss all agendas. Starting with the board minutes. In the regular session, we approve the minutes, the regular business meeting of September 17, 2025. Regular business meeting minutes and executive meeting minutes. Do you have any correction requests for any discussion of this meeting? 2 minutes in September. If not, let's move to committee reports. First, building and ground, Mr. Arundak, could you read the agendas?
Okay, we have 4 items on the consent agenda for today. First item on the agenda is the PTA meeting schedule for the 2024 to the 2025 school year. Be resolved. Okay, 2025 to 2026. Be it resolved that the Palisades Park Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following PTA meeting schedule for the 2025 to 2026 school year. Second Tuesday of every month, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Lindbergh School Cafeteria. Second item on the agenda, recreational department use of a facility. Be it resolved that the Palisades Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the recreation department use of the Lindbergh School, the Lindbergh School Field, and the high school gym for the following events: Halloween trunk or treat, basketball camp, volleyball camp, adult dodgeball, adult basketball, indoor soccer games, and indoor soccer practices. Third item on the agenda, use of Lindbergh School softball field, Bergen Lady Nights. And the fourth item on the agenda is the use of Lindbergh School softball field for the North Jersey Lightfoot. That is all I have to report.
Thank you, Mr. Beck. So do you have any questions and discussion on this review rounds or agendas? Oh, that's right. This is the board action. So we grant the board.
What are the North Jersey Lightfoot?
They are a local team, and could probably speak a little bit more to it, but they use our field. There's no cost to the district. I think they've used it in the past. And what I'm assured is that Palisades Park Sports always has first preference and priority with field or gym or any space. So it's only when we're not using it and it is allowing them to use the field when it's not used by the school.
Is this different from our facilities in the school where we're supposed to be charging for private companies? Is this a private company?
So I can add on to that. So the Vipers organization, they've been using the field for the past several years now. Anytime they have clinics, it's open to all the Palisades Park. It's sporadically too. They don't use the field very often anymore. They used to use it a little more often 2-3 years ago. But what they do is, they've been using the field. I'm affiliated with them. Whenever they want to use the field, whenever they have a clinic of some kind, all Park students and high school students are allowed to participate. So it's just in my view, the softball field never gets used by any of our sports teams, and any field that doesn't get used gets dilapidated, and it kind of forces us me really, to maintain the field, me and Dave Terranova. maintain the field, and before anyone could use the field, it was full of weeds. It was never turned over. Not never, but it had been many, many, many years before it ever got used. So we the board and prior have allowed us to use it just so we can have the field be used, so we can actually start maintaining it, because none of the sports teams actually use it. And it helps out with the Little League team because, again, we maintain the field. They use it as well when they have practices. They don't ever have games there, but they do have practices there that we can, that again, if it gets maintained, it wouldn't get maintained otherwise. So it's no cost because really it's me and Dave that actually do any of the work there.
Medina, I think the important point you made was that our student athletes are able to participate
Yes, correct.
free of charge.
Free of charge, yeah.
So they're getting skill development and they're
Yeah.
able to participate.
Yes, yeah, we've had some of the high school girls, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, participate in the one clinic that they had. They've had one clinic there. They use other fields as well, but sometimes they don't have the field to use. And it's maybe, I don't know, a handful of times throughout the year that they'll use it.
Maybe that engenders a few other questions, like why we don't use that field and maintain it?
That's a bigger question. I would love to have a conversation about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not used because the high school uses the county field, the county softball facility. It's half turf, half dirt field. It's used all the time and maintained by the county. So they use that field. It's got benches there that actually you could sit on, that not up to your knees. But it's also, they've been using, the high school's been using the county facilities since it's opened. And since then, our baseball field over there has not been used. Dave and I have fixed the mound, raked the fields, watered it, done everything just to have some of the Little League teams play on it as well. Just to maintain minimal maintenance, just to keep it up. Because if no one uses the field, it will never get maintained at all.
But the North Jersey Rutgers are, is it private?
They're a club team, yeah. They're a club softball team.
I appreciate all your maintenance work and all of that, but if the way we've been moving forward is to charge private companies for the use of our grounds. So this is
Right.
why I brought this up, but I have sympathy for what's going on, but as a rule, if we're doing this rule things, then we follow rules.
Can I just add to that? I understand where you're coming from, Bo, but from what I know, that Lindbergh Field is co-owned with the recreation as well as the school. So you could, get in touch with Mr. Terranova and get a better answer. But
Are you talking about the property ownership
No.
of Lindbergh Field?
No. The usage of the field, from what I know.
Where did you get the idea from?
Huh?
Where did you get the idea from?
That was discussed in the past, as well as when I was on the recreation committee. That was what we were informed.
Right, but
You could
we
even-
have discussion on our school property issue for past year, and actually we found out that the ordinance of the municipality and even school or former superintendent, the knowledge of the ownership of the Lindbergh Field was
I didn't say the
incorrect.
ownership, I said,
So that time, maybe that
okay.
is not probably correct. So I just want to.
I said you could look into that. I don't want to argue here. Okay, I'm not here
Right,
to
I'm just
argue, I'm just
correcting-
saying,
correcting
I had a
the
question.
facts.
I had a question about the softball as well, but I don't know what the issue is. I do not want to argue, I just wanted to inform you what I know, so maybe Mr. Albano could look into it, that's all I said.
Yeah, I'm not debating, I'm just giving you information that So
That's why I said maybe
school
Mr. Albano
decision
could
to
look
use-
into it to give us a further answer, a better answer, that's what I said,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
So can I ask a question that I wanted to ask about the Bergen Tech? Does the, Mr. E, I'm sorry, doesn't the Bergen Tech have their own field, or is this like a backup?
This is, so they're, in the fall, their field is being used for soccer.
Okay.
So they asked if we had a field that's not being used, and so they wanted to see if they can use it. They usually use Little Ferry's, rec facilities, but once in a while they can't, and so we're just a backup to their, to allow them to play.
Yep.
And again, is because, that field doesn't get used, unfortunately.
Thank you, I just wanted clarification.
Wait, so do they pay Little Ferry and stuff, or is it?
No, they don't pay a Little Ferry, no. Yes.
I'm sitting here with the items number 3 and 4. From the looks of it, it seems like the schedule there just going to be conflicting. Is there?
They're used, so I maintain the schedule for all the fields and the gyms.
Okay.
And so they don't, they use it so sparingly that it might, they have, like, Bergen Tech hasn't used it once last summer, or this past summer. And so they don't need the field very often, and neither do the Viper organization. So it's just when they need it. It's as they might need it. So it's not, there's no like scheduled games there as far as like, they'll have all their games there or anything like that. It's just for mostly for practices.
Okay.
Thank you. Also, I'd like to just repeat that what we've discussed before with our former administrators for this building and ground issues. I don't know if you recall that I have brought up multiple times questioning about whether we charge to the private use of our school building. And sometimes definitely brought up to us to approve it without knowing much about the fee structures, how much we charge, and the schedule conflicts. So each time, so for us, I don't think our district has any set fee structure about this renting out issue, renting out to the private party outside of this district. So I spoke with Mr. Albano, and I think our administrative team will set up the fee structure as well. But for now, my question is that whether we collected or asked them to pay for our security deposit that was stated in our policy. It might be $250. And
I think to be consistent with the policy, we ought to ask them for a deposit in case there's damage or something like that. We can hold that deposit at the end of the season. If there's no issues, then it can be returned, if that's been our practice. But I agree that I think this is a bit of a more complex discussion as far as setting up a fee structure for local organizations, nonprofit organizations, organizations that maybe, invite our students in and our students can benefit from it. And I would welcome, to have some input from the admin team, and I think, with board members, I think we can come up, and there's a lot of good models out there of other districts who do charge and bring in some revenue, but also are reasonable when the district students can benefit from these programs.
thank you.
Quick question on that aspect. If that were to happen, is there going to be some sort of like an oversight, some sort of overseer for those students that are coming in and out of the field? Like a security guard, like checking in, like students or something?
Good question. Typically, that's not necessary. you know, the oversight is the responsibility of the organization coming in, and, you know, if we find that their supervision is not adequate, we can always say no going forward. But the district, it's not typical that a district would provide security for things such as this.
Thank you. Do you have any questions on this building and ground agenda? If not, next, education. Chairperson, Mrs. Sugata, would you please read?
We have 7 field trips and 2 events to be presented today. You will see in the report.
Thank you. Then there's next is the number 2, events. Do you have any questions in discussion on the education agenda?
Yes, I have a question. The destination for New Milford High School, it says group is athletes. Can you elaborate?
Under, I'm sorry, under which one?
Under the field trips, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4th field trip on the list.
It's athletics?
Yeah, it says athletes. It's very broad.
Well, you think you're here tonight. So this is, last year, the NGIC, which is our governing body for the league that we're in, held a sportsmanship summit. They asked us to invite 5 athletes. I surveyed the athletic department. They sent me names. I chose 5 seniors to go. The whole point is for them to relay what they learned at the sportsmanship summit because there are seniors and there are leaders on their teams, to relay that, what they learned at the summit to the sports teams that they play on. So it's in New Milford. We're leaving at 8. We're going to be back by 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Thank you. If it said sportsmanship summit, it would have
Oh,
clarified.
okay.
So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just curious, does that represent different sports or?
Any and all sports that we, it shows a myriad of student athletes, boys and girls as well.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? If not, let's move on to finance. Ms. Boyoung?
Number 1, approval of submission of the USDA full year 2026 grant application. Number 2, approval of submission of IDEA full year 2026 grant application. Number 3, staff member visitations and workshops. A few of them. Number 4, tuition reimbursement. Number 5, approval of October bill list. 6, high school gym equipment inspection. 7, approval of payroll for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pay periods. 8, acceptance of donation to Linwood Elementary School, $100. 9, approval of agreement with Omni TSA CG. Number 10, student activities accounts. 11, Bergen County Special Services annual contract, non-public IDEA funding. Number 12, agreement with school office solutions. Oh, okay. Treasurer of school monies. And number 13 is with correction. Agreement with school accounting services, retroactive payment calculation. It's a correction of the name of the company. 14, acceptance of donation to the Palisades Park Junior Senior High School dance team. Number 15, out-of-school district contracts, 2025-26 school year.
Any members, any questions
I have a few questions. Can you explain what's the difference between Title III and Title III immigrant? is?
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you.
The Title III immigrant, the money has to be earmarked for students who are English language learners and who are here and in need of support, but of course, this is not their first language. And they're recently immigrated from another country. I can't tell you how many years back we can go, but that money must be used for that specific purpose. So it's a little more specific.
And also for the number 15, I understand the New Bridge and Ridgefield, but Leonia, can you explain?
Yeah, these are decided upon by the Committee on Special Education.
So there's a special education for Leonia as well?
Yes, so we probably, that program, we don't have it here, and we don't offer it at Palisades Park. It's a program that
And Ridgefield doesn't
requires.
offer it either?
That level of detail I don't know, but that's the determination of the Committee on Special Education. So if they're recommending Leonia, that is the best placement for the child.
Oh, as long as it's for special ed, that, you have answered my question. All right, thank you.
These are all special ed in number 15. Okay.
That is correct.
All right, so any other questions or discussion with this 15 agendas?
Are we doing a thank you to the team Palisades Park?
I was going to in my presenter reports, but I can do it now. I'd like to recognize the team Palisades Park for our appreciation for your $2,500 donation to our junior high school girls dance team. Thank you. And Chairperson, you got one you should make it tonight. But previously, Team Palisades Park have conducted the art contest in our high school. It resulted in awarding nearly $3,000 to our students in district. Thank you. Do you have any questions in finance? So next, the personnel. The other 10 agenda tonight for October. But since the chairperson, Mr. Jun Lee, our vice president as well, we couldn't make our meeting tonight. But so the committee member, Ms. Boyer, would you mind to read the agenda?
Oh, sure.
Now I can do it too, but.
Sure. One, appointment of staff. Aldo Diodino, Edward Simon, Morena Cordova Gonzalez, Esther Lee. 2, request for leaves. Number 3, amendment to teacher appointment. Number 4, amendment to breakfast club and weight room supervisor stipend. Number 5, amendment to cafeteria 8 hours. 6, appointment of anti-bullying specialist. 7, approval of dance team trip chaperones. 8, approval of middle school girls basketball coach. 9, approval of middle school boys basketball coach. Number 10, staff termination.
Thank you. Any questions in personnel matters? After the board previously discussed in closed session, if there's any further questions or discussion, then please proceed.
Oh, why are we upping the hours for the cafeteria 8?
This was an oversight. We originally, I think over the summer, they were appointed for 3.5, but in reality, we learned that they do work 4 hours a day. And I checked with Ms. Bravos, our principal, who confirmed that. So that's the need to cover all of the lunch shifts.
More questions? Now, I was here with the committees that has no report tonight. May I have a motion to go enter into the regular session? All in favor? Any abstention? Thank you. So we start with the board reports from the board of presidents. I'd like to just speak about the board district 4, but I didn't represent it here because Mr. Urbano will do his superintendent's board for this 2025-2026 after me. But I just want to explain on board members that how this board came up. And if you recall that a few months ago, since that we've been discussing about the Palisades Board of Education's District 4 for 2025-2026. Based upon, we collected some evidences that what needed to improve in our school district, and one of criteria was that the result of our former superintendent's evaluation as well too. So the board came up with the draft agendas for our boards, and we previously discussed that was communications and improve student performance outcomes, and develop and improve our social emotional learning opportunities for all, and develop a fiscal accountability. And while our board score is somehow abstract, and some of them might take years, not just can be accomplished in 1 year. And so our board, our superintendent Mr. Urbano, his role is he is the expert to make our board more feasible and more executive and more effective. And so he will make a presentation of his on our boards out of our board discussion, and most of the board might be in aligned with the board score, but not all. And so again, like some of our board scores might not be achieved in 1 year. So he came up with a very concrete and constructive goal, and it was pretty well structured. And then Mr. Urbano, please go ahead with your superintendent's report.
Sure. For our guests, the screen unfortunately is in the back, so you need to do a 180. And I will try to project, but I think I feel more comfortable near the screen. The board can hear me as well. So if you could. Presentation room. There we go. Thank you. So we basically have two presentations, goals, and then we're going to turn it over to our principals to do a review of last year's student performance data. But the goals, typically you see them adopted September and October. I did ask the board for a little patience because I did arrive midsummer, and I needed to try to understand the district. I had a lot of conversations and meetings, and thank you all for so much of the feedback that you gave me. But one goal, and in discussion with our board, is that we really think there's room to improve with communications. And even right here with our board meeting, I think we do a good job, but again, there are things that I believe can help us. Enhancing the website is a big one. We think just make it more easier to search things, maybe more logical, a little more streamlined. There are software platforms for Board of Education agendas that are really helpful for the public to follow along, and it also includes policies and their search capacity that is very strong. And it's a nominal expense, but additionally, internally, to be able to do a search, on board docs, whether it's the business office, HR, payroll, our administrators, our teachers, internally, to have a platform will really help us be more efficient and more effective in our communications. And we are working on that. Grace Lee and I, the board secretary, have already examined a few different platforms, and we think we can have an implementation. But I'm sorry, I jumped right down to the third bullet. A basic one is, it's funny, we went from one camera, and now I think this evening we have 4 cameras going. But going forward, just so everyone knows, the district is committed to recording every board meeting and posting it. So certainly other community members are welcome to record as well, but we will have an official recording, and that's what will be posted for people to refer to. Also, again, just looking at that website very carefully, and then also a lot of training is involved once we implement, whether it's board docs or diligent board, training people on how to use it effectively. That takes some effort, but we think we can accomplish that by the winter. And then also work with our IT department to look at the website functionality, ensuring that there's compatibility when you pull it up on your smartphone, accessibility, and easy to navigate. So again, I think there's room for improvement there, and I know the community really relies on the website. Second big area is hiring. So I think anyone who's been following the Powell Park story knows that we had an unusually high number of vacancies this past summer. That's no secret. We hired probably well over 25 teachers, central office, administration staff, and administrators. We are just about fully staffed, but it was a very difficult time to run these searches and hire. It's not ideal. In the world of education, you want to be out there hiring in the spring for other districts. You don't want to follow other districts after they had their hiring season, and then you're scrambling at the end of the summer. It's never a good position to be in. So we want to be more proactive in doing this. We think that starts with getting a group together internally to look at how we hire currently, and there are very strong processes and procedures in place. But again, I do think there is some room for improvement here. Having an official hiring protocol that everyone follows consistently, I do think is important. Making sure we're thorough, making sure that the committees are well informed about the do's and don'ts of how to question candidates. Follow-up questions. You heard a little bit of that tonight with the board interviews. Also, background checks, being thorough, doing reference checks, not just taking references that the candidate gives, but going beyond that if you can. That's how you really make sure you're hiring quality people. So that will be discussed, it'll be formalized in a document and presented, to the Board of Education for consideration in February. But training, on the practice and the procedures and just getting better at it. Also, on the flip side, recruiting. I think there's room to improve our recruiting efforts. We have some good relationships with a lot of local universities. But also we want to consider maybe advertising, like casting a wider net and getting larger and more diverse pools of candidates. Now there's an expense attached to that, so we will have to speak with the board. Is the board willing to support an investment in some broader advertisement? And there are some platforms that we can take a look at and give you some estimated costs there. But again, if you have a larger pool, you just have a better chance of selecting high-quality candidates. And then lastly, again, I think there's 8 or 9 local universities with high-quality teaching programs and administrative programs. And I know we have a lot of good relationships, but I'm new, and I really don't know any of the deans of schools of education or the people in charge of student-teacher placement. I've spoken to a few on the phone, but I want to increase those relationships and bring in student teachers as much as possible. And many of them, if they're standout young educators, maybe eventually they can become permanent teachers here at Powell Park. So I think just working on those recruitment efforts and getting out there early and being consistent. And another thing, it seems simple, but after people interview, a thank you for interviewing letter, even if you don't get the job. Because you never know, sometimes people are not ready, they're not experienced, but 3 years down the road, they would be a great fit for us. So you never leave people feeling like they're ghosted. You've heard that line in the hiring world. I think it's just respect when someone makes the time to interview, that we follow up with them and leave a good impression. Now, the main focus, while everyone is here, are the students. And that rate, Christian, I thought we fixed it to 96, but okay. We're going to adjust it when we post it on the website. So overall, Powell Park's student attendance is actually pretty strong. So we took a look at previous years. We're hovering in that 94 percentile. And that number up there was that. This was a previous version, but we're going to set a bar of 96%. The national average is like 93%. The state average is a little higher. It's like 94%. We were just above 94% last year, but we want to do better. And I think if the students are here and we really work to support our parents and encourage our students, the more they are here, the more they're engaged, the more they're learning, and the better their performance will be. So this is a goal for us. The admin team has been working on this from day one. We're going to be looking at trends. Those handful of students who are suffering from chronic absenteeism, what can we do? Do our counselors need to be involved? Some kids are maybe struggling with getting to school. There's anxiety. There's all different things that our young children are going through, and we need to support that better. Also, that's targeted interventions. Sometimes families are in need or have challenges. And we have a network of resources, and we have people that are really, really skilled in this area and knowledgeable, and we will make sure we're connecting families and supporting them as well. Also, just promoting good attendance, incentives for our students, recognizing those who have strong attendance, supporting those who are struggling with attendance. And just PD for our teachers, administrators. We did hire a lot of new people. Make sure they understand that if there is a pattern of attendance, there's a whole team in place at each school that can help support and do outreach. It doesn't fall solely on the shoulders of the teacher, and we will support that. Finally, the core of what we do, I really have to say, is literacy. So I think it's, for me in my first year here, I think it's an area that we need to focus on. I'm not going to take a lot of credit for this because the supervisors and the administrators and the teachers piloted a research-based ELA program last year, and that's amplified. You may know we were, like almost every other school across the nation, using the Columbia University Teachers College Balanced Literacy Program. And there are many good elements in that program, but about 3 years ago, Lucy Calkins, the person who created the Columbia program, walked back her guidance that people followed for probably 25 or 30 years, and that it wasn't research-based. The science was not supporting it, and that you needed more direct reading instruction, more phonemic awareness, and things such as that. So, again, I'd like to take credit, but I can't. The team here was proactive. They piloted this program last year, and with the pilot cohorts, saw tremendous results. So now it's being implemented for the entire elementary school, and I thank the board for supporting this. We approved it maybe 6 weeks ago, and now we have a lot of work to do. There's the implementation phase, there's PD lined up, and supporting the teachers in this new program. But I will say that the teachers are very enthusiastic, because when you see students make growth, and you see those results, and you see the responsiveness, it's exciting. And so our teachers are totally on board with this. The admin team is there to support them, and I have no doubt that this is going to be successful. And if you improve your literacy skills, well, what will follow? Math has literacy, right? There are word problems. Science has literacy. Social studies certainly has literacy. So I think if focusing on this right now, first and foremost, will have an impact on all the other subject areas, and will really help us with our student performance going forward. It won't happen overnight, but I do think you're going to see a steady trend of student performance going up, and this is really the heart of it right here. So that's why I made it a main goal. So with that, we're going to focus on many other things. It's not just these 4 things, but these we tried to get down to what are the most important things that we could do to have an impact on the district in a positive way and on the students. So with that, I will take questions if there are any. Yes?
Not so much a question, but I can tell you right now that the literacy is working, because you know, one right here that's definitely doing very well with that. So it's funny to watch him do everything phonetically. He didn't have to spell anything right, but he writes. And when I read what he writes, you can actually see him try to spell it out phonetically the way he thinks it sounds right now, as he's learning the correct way to spell. So for me, it's super interesting.
Thank you for that feedback. It's good to hear. Ms. Dorados is going to. Oh, you have two up yours? Yeah.
Thank you. So just a little bit about our test scores. NJSLA, NJGPA, which Mr. Cipriano will address, and access scores, which are addressed in this presentation. So the Palisades Park School District, we have, of course, what I just talked about, NJSLA, NJGPA, access. You may hear about DLM, it's a special education exam, but we did not have any students taking the DLM in 2025, so you won't see anything in this specifically. Just focusing on Lindbergh Elementary School, grades 1 to 6. I tried to get one of the shots that had the cherry blossoms. I don't think you can see it that well. So a little bit about our population, and you can see from 2018-19, the highlighted 24-25 in yellow is the year that we're going to be looking at the test data for. These are just a little bit about our demographics. You can see our Hispanic, Asian population, other population. ML is multilingual learners, that's our ESL. And IEP, those are our students who have, our special education students who have an IEP. Currently, as of today, we have 723 students enrolled in Lindbergh School. So this year, of those 723, 469 students are slated to take the NJSLA. And then you can see the breakdown further. Some students will be in multiple categories, because you can have a student who, obviously, you can have a Hispanic, Asian, white, African American student who is also a multilingual learner and or an IEP learner as well. So, but that's your, basically your breakdown, and you can see your percentages there. The NJSLA, these are statewide assessments. All public schools in New Jersey must take these assessments, and they assess students' progress towards the standards, the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, and they are tested in ELA, English Language Arts, Mathematics, and Science. So these are the levels that you'll see. In ELA and Math, there are 5 levels. Levels 1, 2, and 3, they're not meeting the standards yet.
did not yet meet, partially met, approached, and then levels 4 and 5 have met and or exceeded the expectations. So that's where we really want to be. Level 4 is your benchmark. That's where we know the child has met the standards for that grade level. For science, there are only 4 levels. You can see here below proficient, near proficient. Level 3 is proficient, that is the target, and level 4 is advanced proficiency. So that's in science. Science is only tested in grades 5, 8, and 11. So all eligible students in grades 3 through 6 did participate. We did not have test refusals. The only students that were exempt were our newly arrived MLs who arrived after June 1st of 2024. And they took the math and science but did not take the ELA portion yet, and that is as per the state. So this shows you a little bit about 2024, 2025. A few things just highlighted here. This goes in hand with what Mr. Albano was just talking about. Grade 4 was our biggest gain, where we had a 10% increase in our ELA scores. We think that is because our grade 4 fully implemented, that whole grade level piloted CKLA amplified. So we're hoping that that is the case. It does seem that that is the trend, because then predictably other grade levels will follow. Additionally, that grade level, as they all work together to implement CKLA, there was a lot of collaboration which did also extend among the other, through and across the other academic subjects, which you'll see. So in math, they also had a great increase from 38 to 45%. And so we do think that that collaboration, as well as increasing their literacy skills, also helped to enhance their math skills. And we have to remember that it was, even though they all were working in that program, it was a pilot for them too. So it was their first year really, working with this program. So then we can see here, looking at our state versus Palisades Park in 2025 and 2024. For where we're looking to address, I'm really looking at that yellow level, because that's your approaching. Those are the students who we feel can really start to meet their goals. So, of course we want to see more students in the green, but we're really going to focus on where those students in yellow, our SLA after school program. That academy is, when that opens up, we're going to really be looking to target those students who we see are approaching, because we feel that they can meet those standards across grade levels. So we see that in grade 3. In grade 4, again, it's in 2025 in Palisades Park, it's about a quarter of our students, and we see the same in 2024. So we're hoping that we can get a quarter of our grade level there. That will really show a lot of growth. Grade 5, similarly, very close to that 25%, and in grade 6 as well, very close to that 25%. So we really need, and in grade 6, we are also piloting the Amplify program that is not CKLA, but it's amplified. So we're hoping that we'll see the progress there too, and there's a lot of excitement built about that in our grade 6, among our grade 6 faculty. So mathematics, we see similarly, 34% there in math is approaching. So if we can get those students to make the gains, we will be well over the 50% mark, and that would really enhance our math skills. We see similarly in grade 4, grade 5, and finally grade 6. So just some quick take. Science, we can see from 24 to 25, levels 3 and 4, we know that we're trying to bring those levels up. We do have our 5th and 6th grade math teachers working very closely with one another. They're looking closely at the curriculum and ways to improve their instruction, and looking at the curriculum to see ways to build up across their grade levels as well. So we looked at our NJSLA, looking at ELA and mathematics. So you can see here, grade 3 in ELA had 5% that were fewer or not partially meeting, 3% were fewer were meeting, and 8% more were approaching. So we see an increase in those levels. In grade 3 math, we had 1% greater was increase or meeting exceeding. This is from 24 to 25. Grade 4, that was our largest increase, 10% increase meeting or exceeding. Grade 4, again, in math, we had 7% increase in meeting or exceeding. In grade 5 ELA, we had a 2% decrease. And grade 5 math, a 4% increase. Grade 6, we had our biggest decreases in ELA and math. So we tried to take a look and see what's happening in these grade levels. So as I said before, grade 4 CKLA, we went to full implementation. That was a great collaboration across the grade level, and that also extended across subjects. In grade 6, we looked year to year. We saw there was a drop for that cohort of students. These were our students that were first graders during the COVID shutdown and second graders during the hybrid year. Also is a very large class. There were 136 students there in grade 6 versus our current grade level, grade 6, which only has 111 students. So we know they were a very large group, and we do feel that in first and second grade that was difficult. It was a difficult time. So we have our subgroups here. Our economically disadvantaged students, our multilingual learners, and students with disabilities. So we had 20% meeting expectations for our economically disadvantaged, 7% of our multilingual learners, and 9% of our students with disabilities. So we know that we definitely have work to do here in our subgroups. Grade 4 ELA, similarly, 38%, that's pretty high for our economically disadvantaged students. Our multilingual learners, 12%, and our students with disabilities at 14%. Grade 5 ELA, 18% met expectations. Well, our MLs and student with disabilities, we had 0%. So we know this is something we need to work on, and we have been working on in grade 5 and in grade 6. We're 23% met of our economically disadvantaged students met or exceeded the expectations versus ML and students with disabilities. Math was a little bit higher. 30% of our students met or exceeded expectations. 24% of our MLs and 9% of our students with disabilities exceeded the expectations. In grade 4, even higher. 41% of our economically disadvantaged students, 32% of our MLs. And I do want to highlight this because our ESL teachers taught the CKLA program right alongside of our classroom teachers. So that 32% of our 4th grade students who passed, they were receiving CKLA instruction, and it was their first year. So that's a pretty significant number. And 29% of our students with disabilities, and those students as well, participated in this pilot program as a special education teachers also taught CKLA. Grade 5 math, we had 24% of our students who were economically disadvantaged meet or exceed expectations, and 0% of our MLs and students with disabilities. And grade 6, 19% of our economically disadvantaged students and 6% of our students with disabilities met or exceeded the expectations. So, this brings us to our WIDA standards for our access. These are the levels of proficiency. So the students take the access test in March. Our ESL students are the only students who take this test. And these are the levels from entering all the way to reaching. We know where they definitely are out of the program. Typically at around bridging, the students will be at that level where they will test out of the program. And then Mrs. Moon, our ESL supervisor, provided this data for us. It's students from K through 12 and where they landed each of the levels. So you can see where they are in every level, and there were 517 students from K through 12 who did participate in the access. Then some intervention strategies for multilingual learners. Of course, we're going to continue PLCs, professional learning communities, and those teachers are working with the classroom teachers as we are implementing CKLA. So we're strengthening that collaboration. We are implementing a push-in as well as a pull-out model for ESL this year. That's something new. We are using pull-out in the upper grades if the students in grades 3 and 4, if the students are at a lower level of language development, and pushing in when they are at a higher level of language development. And except in grades 5 and 6, because that's totally departmentalized. So that's all pull-out. We're using our INRS protocol so that we can identify students who are at risk, even if they have any other, like in ESL, if they're in ESL as well. We are providing an after-school program with an ESL component to those students who are close to testing out of our ESL program. We want to really try to help them to develop those skills and help them get out of the program and into the full day in the general education setting. We're promoting a positive school climate. We are also addressing the chronic absenteeism, which we hope will help. The more the students are in school, the better they're going to do academically. Also will help with any behavioral issues, and continuing to support through our mental health team. So we're trying to help the whole child, looking at their socio-economic, social-emotional skills, their academic needs, and looking at any challenges they may face, especially our newcomers to the country. Then looking at what we can do all across Lindbergh School. We have as well full implementation of CKLA in grades 1 to 5 and the collaborative teaching approach to support our ML, piloting amplified ELA for grade 6. We're continuing the NJSLA After School Academy for grades 3 to 6, and we're focusing on teaching skills and strategies to meet the standards while addressing test-taking obstacles and tips. So that after-school program is going to have a greater focus. We're not just going, we're keeping the kids, but it's really going to be much more focused on how we're going to look at those standards, look at those skills, and how we're going to address those needs. We're continuing that after-school program for grades 3 to 6 to also support our MLs so they can expand their level of proficiency. We're providing greater support during the WIN period. That period was implemented last year, and we're using additional support staff as well as progress monitoring, and we're being more specialized with how we're progress monitoring. We're looking where the students are falling and seeing how frequently we need to actually progress monitor those students. We're supporting collaboration among the teachers by providing additional time to plan together. All of that time has been carved out for the teachers in the school day. And we're encouraging support through peer observations. We take the pressure off. It's not only administrators going in, allowing time for teachers to observe one another. We're also continuing professional development in CKLA and Conquer Mathematics, that partnership. We're continuing with as well. Any questions? Yes.
The Amplify program, looks like it was very successful. You said it was a pilot program, so if it was successful, how come we couldn't adopt it? Was there costs involved that you couldn't?
Well, last year we wanted to pilot. So what we did was we piloted two classes on each grade level, except grade 4, because that was actually cost effective because of our word study program at that level. It's a little bit complicated, but I'll save you the time. It enabled us to go full implementation in grade 4. So on a pilot level. Thankfully, the program was extremely well received. We saw great success in grade 4, and this board was supportive of purchasing the program. And I know Mr. Albano, thank you, but I have to personally thank you as well, because supporting this, I think, is really going to help all of our students. And I think we're going to see great gains. I don't know it's going to be year one. I hope I can stand up here and show you a lot more green, but
So it says amplify ELA for grade 6.
yes.
So, but why aren't we doing it all throughout? Is it the cost that's preventing?
Oh, no, well, CKLA is what the program is called in 1 to 5.
Oh, I see.
Amplify is grade 6. CKLA only goes up to grade 5, but it's all amplified.
It's all amplified?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Mhm. Any other questions? Okay. He's like, get up.
No, I don't know.
Yes.
You gonna get up there? You guys know a lot more than me about this. Good evening, everyone. I can't even work the clip. Oh, that's the point. Okay. Tonight we're going to discuss the high school with NJSLA, with mathematics, ELA, and science. Dino discussed in August about NJGPA, which is the high school graduation readiness proficiency exam. I'm going to touch on that real quickly. I'll give you the Cliff Note version since we did it in August. And then we're going to discuss the advanced placement exam. As Laura explained, we do not have any dynamic learning maps, so we don't have anything to discuss tonight on that. Some demographics of the high school. We had last year 740 students. This is the breakdown per grade level and the breakdown per ethnicity, with, as it shows right now, close to 72% disadvantaged students, breakdown of 67 Hispanic, 23 Asian, almost 8 white, and almost 3 others. So that's the breakdown last year. This is our language arts ELA, grade 7, which shows roughly 38% have passed the test. As you were told before, your 4 and 5s, which is the yellow and the green, is your passing. The darker yellow is the students that are on the cusp of not passing. So with 7th graders, we're at 38%. With grade 8, we're at 23%. And grade 9, we're at 32%. And with all grades, we're roughly, I can't even read that, 34%. But if you look at the darker yellow, those are the students, not saying that we're not concentrating on those students, but those are the students that we really want to look at, and I'll explain later how we concentrate on those students, that they're the border students, and if you add up the scores that I added, the 2 for each column, our scores wouldn't really reflect what they show right now. This is our math scores. Once again, we're roughly in the same range as ELA, with 27% in 7th grade, 12% in 8th grade. Our biggest one is Algebra 1, which we did really well in at 74%. And then Algebra 1, the high school students, Algebra 1, middle school, those are the 8th graders that took it. 10% in the high school, and geometry at 43,
with all grades at 20%. Once again, we're in the 20 percentile almost in every grade level except one grade level, which those are the students that really could push us over the edge. When we looked at the breakdown for the past 3 years, we did increase in the change from level 3 to 4 with a 3.4% increase in grade 8, and we did increase in science 1.3 from levels 3 to 4.
Wait, what are these levels for?
These are students that moved in levels in favor of the scores. So there was a change from levels 3 to 4, and the percentile of those changes are 3.4%. So if you look at through the years, from let me see if I can get this point to top. From here to here, we changed 3.4% throughout these years. And then this is the percentage that we changed going from below proficiency to near proficiency. That's the change.
Wait, but which students were in these levels?
This is 8th grade science and 11th grade science. Can't see because it's cut off. The grade level is cut off on the left. You following me or no? Okay, it's science, SLA. Here's the grade level, 8 and 11.
Oh, I understand what grades they are, but what are these levels? What are they marking? Like level of science?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, this is where we really did increase. Total APs, we roughly have 19 APs running currently. Total AP students, we went from 73 in 2024 to 85 students that took the AP test. Out of that, number of exams that we're giving out was 161 in 2024. 2025, we gave out 209. Students that got a 3 or better, we went from 51 students to 74, with the increase from 69.8 to 87%. So that's a nice increase. That's a nice number of students that took the exams. And like I said, these are all exams on the left that we offer right now in Top Island. The overview, the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment shall be administered to all 11th grade pupils, 11th and 12th graders, and they have to master this test before they graduate. GPA is designed to measure the extent to which the students are graduation ready in English, language arts, and math. Graduation readiness is reported separately for each content component. The ELA component is aligned to the grade 10 standards, and the mathematics component is aligned to Algebra 1 and geometry standards. Students who take but do not meet the minimum required score of 725 on each component of the assessment, they have opportunities to receive additional support and the following steps of the components. They could redo the assessment in the summer or fall. They could meet a designated cutoff score from the menu of competency test, or they can complete a portfolio. So we have several students. We just gave a follow-up test last week for students who have not passed it. And we also have students that have enrolled in courses that they had to make up in the summer to catch up in courses that they have failed. Okay, currently, so number of students tested in language arts in grade 11, we had 136, in math, 139. You see a difference of 3 students because in language arts, if students are not within the country and don't speak the language and are not here in the country within a year's time, they do not have to take the test. So that's why there's a discrepancy of 3 students. We have a 100 participation rate in both. Here's the 2-year trend of graduation readiness in math and language arts. We went 34.7% to 38, 65.6 to 60 in language arts. Okay. These are ELA in math, not yet graduation ready. We went from 34 to 39, and in math we went from 65 to 61. Graduation ready, we went from 65 to 60, from 34 to 38 in math, and the change is we went down 5.3% in language arts. However, we did go up 3.4% in math. Our graduation rate has gone up each year, but it went up 4%, almost 4% from last year to this year. So we're at 98%, over 98% last year. These are notable successes that we have looked at for the past 3 years. Grade 8, 10.8% increase in meeting or exceeding. In grade 8 ELA, 5.6 decrease in not meeting, meaning even those students are not yet meeting or exceeding, are making progress. Grade 8 math, 7.3 increase in meeting or exceeding. GPA math, 3.4% increase. An increase in the number of AP exams, which I showed you before, taken by 48 tests, and an increase of 7.2 of students passing. This is more important. Interventions to increase. What are we doing to improve our scores? Of course, traditionally, organized analysis of education achievement trends paired with continual horizontal and vertical curriculum articulation. What does that mean? We're going to look at our curriculum. We're going to make sure that our teachers are teaching to the curriculum. How are we doing that? Well, this year I brought back lesson plans within the teachers. They were doing unit plans. I want to make sure that our teachers are teaching the New Jersey standards to the students, and how can I do that? By looking at lesson plans each week. And I asked my supervisors to collect those lesson plans each week to make sure that, not checking on the teachers, but helping the teachers. And we have certainly new teachers that might need guidance to make sure that they're teaching the standards to the students. Also, I asked my supervisors to go to classrooms routinely to see that these standards are being met. I visit classrooms every day. I'm not in my office, and it's nothing to check on teachers. There needs to be an interaction. I need to know what's going on in the classrooms. Students need to know that where they're caring of what's going on. So not just teaching the curriculum, but showing that care in how the curriculum is being taught. Purchase of new math and ELA resources. I sat down when I came in with my math and ELA supervisor this year,
and I asked what resources are we using along with the curriculum. I didn't like what I heard, and I sat down with each department, one by one, asking the teachers themselves, what resources do you need? What can I give you to make your job easier and bring that spark within your classroom again? And then I sat down with their supervisors and asked, is this a fair offer or a fair item that they're asking for? And we sat down and we had purchased some of it, and some of it was far out there. And we had to tell them that it wasn't something that was necessary. PLCs, learning communities, analyzing what's driving the curriculum and what instruction practices are going to be used. District-wide focus on data analysis. Taking the data that we just showed you, that 26, Your Honor, I was going to discuss that yellow, those 26% in each category that were just on the cusp. I've done this in the past in almost every district I've been in. We can't just say, oh, we're going to focus on the 26%. How are we going to focus on the 26%? Those 26%, we're looking at roughly 200, 300 students. When you break it down to the teachers in each department, comes down to 20, 30 students. You actually take those students. The test is broken into clusters. Clusters, they actually give you the score of that individual student, clusters of parts of the test. They show you the scores of each part for that individual student. So concentrating on each student and giving that information to that teacher so they know exactly where that student is struggling, and concentrating with the individual student and not just on the whole test. ELA lab courses. We have ELA lab courses, which is a class to concentrate on the basics for the students that are in that yellow. I just spoke to the math supervisor this year. I want to implement math labs also. We don't have math labs, just the LA labs. So I want to implement the math labs also. And speaking to the scheduler, we can do that starting monthly periods 2. Continue implementing and formalizing INRS protocols. We just put out a posting, thanks to Mr. Albano today, putting INRS teams together. We do have our coordinator, but actually putting members in place. We just put the posting and concentrating on those students that need the resources. Peer tutoring opportunities providing through the Honor Society. When I sat down also, I met with each class level the first week they started school. And just like I did with the teachers, I want to hear from the students what they want. And believe me, kids don't lie. When you ask kids what they want, they tell you, and sometimes they tell you too much. But they wanted structure. And I was surprised. They wanted structure. They wanted bring back some school pride. They were telling me things, can we have this, can we have that, can we bring back this? I guess they heard things that we did when I was here many moons ago. But they were logical demands. And what they wanted was, they wanted peer groups. They didn't want teachers tutoring them. They wanted peer groups back. So the Honor Society, and we used to have Big Brother, Big Sister, bringing that back. When I say structures, and when I tell you we're looking at each one of this, when I first came in order to implement all this, we need people to buy into it. You could implement all of this, but if people don't buy into it, your scores are not going to change. So the first thing I had to think about was, I need to have the teachers buy into this. And by doing that, the teachers that know me, I call it equity, just like your house. They have to have equity in the school. They have to feel like they belong. So taking that pride back, listening to what they want, not giving them everything they want, but listening to what they want. They're the ones in the classroom. Many of them know I'm tough but fair. I did ask them dress code, which they don't like. I'm a stickler with dress code because what you wear is how you conduct yourself. And as teachers do that, students do that. And if you walk in a building, you're going to see different students now. Dressing nice, dressing with pride, and that's how they conduct themselves in the classroom. Discipline. This does not start if you don't have discipline in the building. I sat down with every single student. I'll give you the world, but you follow my rules. And if you don't follow the rules, A, B, and C are going to occur. Because now you know, but you'll have everything you want. Right now, we don't have many discipline problems in our school. We had to correct them early on, and we did. And we sat down with those students and parents. We implemented Saturday detention, which we didn't have. We had a lateness problem, which we dropped 23% since last year. Teacher attendance improved 18% since last year because they're buying into that. And I guarantee your scores are going to change because the students and the staff have gained equity into the school. And that's what's going to change these scores. Along with this, but if they don't buy into it, this is not going to change. Any questions?
You said you instituted a lesson plan, a weekly one, is it?
Yes.
What is the advantage in having like a weekly lesson plan review? Like, isn't that just time consuming?
No, because the lesson plan is like the holy grail of teaching. You have to have a plan implemented, some sort of what you're going to conduct. What they were doing were unit plans. A unit plan is, for example, you're doing a chapter, you write a unit for the whole chapter what you're going to teach that month. But that's not telling me how you're implementing each aspect, and it's not telling me the pacing of each aspect. So that's not telling me, for example, you spending 3 weeks on this part and 3 days on this part. So I don't know if that 3-day part, which is more important than that 3-week part, is not helping the kids. Now I know how much time you're spending on each part of that chapter. And listen, some teachers, I really believe we got some good teachers. I really do. Some teachers just need that structure that, hey, you know what? And this is the conversations we have. It's not a conversation, hey, you're doing this wrong. It's a conversation, hey, you know, did you ever think about trying this different? 9 out of 10 times, the approach works 100 times better than pointing the finger. They turn around and say, hey, yeah, you know, I didn't try that. I can't tell you how many times I already had teachers ask me to come visit their classrooms. It's a different environment now. But those lesson plans do make a difference. The teachers didn't like it in the beginning. But I think now they stopped talking about it, and now they see that it's working. Change is tough. Anything else? Wow, I'm getting a lot of questions. I'm going to watch the 9 o'clock news.
I know you're from long time. I know from Sierra Leone with my other son. Now you come with all this new thing that I feel that is making good shame. Can you describe more about the dress code when you need the dress code? How can you follow through that? Are you standing at the entrance? How can you follow that? And what is the dress code for you? For example, if a young girl go with a tennis short, like skirt, with a short on, are you considering that as not a good dress code?
Just like when I met with the students, I told them I'm not going to treat them like boys and girls. I'm going to treat them like young men and women. When they're at a dress code, I have a conversation with them. Would you wear that if you're going out with your parents to a special party? Would you wear that if you're going to a conservative event? 9 out of 10 times, they're like, what's wrong with my outfit? Listen, I have a 30-year-old and I have a 28-year-old. I'm not embarrassed to tell someone you're showing too much skin. Or a boy who's wearing his pants down here, I don't need to see what color underpants he's wearing. That's not appropriate. I don't have a problem explaining to them that's not how we dress. Or if they're wearing slippers to school, it's not a slumber party. You have to be appropriately dressed. If there's an emergency and we have to evacuate the building, I can't have slippers on your feet, pants down to here, and you got to run out of the building. It's not safe. So I have a conversation with them, a private conversation. And then I tell them, do you have something to change in? No. Call your parents, bring some. I have secretaries that are better than me, they give them the t-shirt. And then I'm like, why are they wearing our school t-shirt? Where did they get a t-shirt? And they tell me, I don't know. Meanwhile, I don't have t-shirts in the box anymore. But the kids, the first 3 weeks, I could say it was tough, but now we don't have a problem anymore.
I know, but my question was, is that considered if you wear like those very, like a piece, tennis skirt with a short under, is that considered not appropriate?
I mean, now you're asking me something that's hypothetical. I don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, if they have shorts underneath, that's a different story.
Thank you.
You know, I don't know if they have shorts underneath. I'm not going to look if they got shorts. I'm going to go to jail now. It's the policy. They have to follow the policy.
I understand that, but is that correlated to any studies on how effective dress code is in making academics go up, or is that?
It did when I was principal 15 years ago. I don't know what the current studies are. I'm old school, I'm sorry.
I'm curious because it's hard to track if another person was likely with not a dress code appropriate for a week, if nobody's checking, and then a person gets his call.
No, I check every day. I check, and they know, the students know. They're funny. I could have the worst day in the world, and I just go out of my office and talk to the students, and my day is perfect again. I literally pick 5 students off of Genesis and look at their grades every day. And I find them in the school. And I make it my point to find them. And I say to them, wow, you got good grades. You're doing good. Or you got to pick up your grades. And they're like, Mr. Cipriano, how do you know? Because I check. And they're like, we never had someone that does that check on our grades and find us. Well, now you do. So they think, you know, someone's watching. But we all have to watch. Because they have to know somebody cares. So they know that I'm watching them all over the building, so you got to see them. They put their phones away. But I don't yell at them. I have a conversation with them. Interim. I love every day though. Every day is a great day. Any other questions? No, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Carabano and Ms. Pierros and Mr. Cipriano. Mr. Carabano, we are done with your priority focus.
Yes.
Reports from the Board of Attorneys, Mr. Armando, do you have any reports today?
Nothing else.
Next. May I have a motion to approve the board minutes, September 17, 2025, as regular business meeting and the executive meeting. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
I'm
Abstention, objection, please.
gonna abstain, I didn't have a chance to read one.
Okay, thanks. Ms. Cole, you abstain. Next, building and ground, we have 4 consent agenda items for approval. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No abstention? Next, let's approve the 2 consent agenda in education. May I have a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No abstention? We have 15 finance agenda for approval tonight. May I have a motion to approve by 15 consent agenda under finance?
I'll make a motion.
Who make a motion?
Second.
Could you please do a roll call?
Ms. Sutra?
Yes?
Mr. Sergio Petty?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez? Ms. Susan Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Impact?
Yes.
Thank you, personnel. I'm sorry, but just a quick question, number 9. If that's a volunteer position, that means that no stipend paid. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve 10 consent agenda for personnel business?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Need a second? Please do a roll call.
Ms. Sutra?
Yes?
Mr. Sergio Petty?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Ramirez? Ms. Susan Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Impact?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go back to item number E, to appoint a candidate to fill board vacancy. We have 4 nominations for the position to be filled. There are 2 candidates applied to this position, Mr. Rotundo and Mr. Park. We have any nominations?
I want to
Yes, Mr. King.
nominate Ray Park to fill the board vacancy for next month.
Thank you. Mr. Raybach was nominated. Any other nominations? If not, please roll call, please.
Ms. Sutra?
Yes?
Mr. Sergio Petty?
Yes.
Mr. Anthony Kim?
Yes.
Lanier,
Abstain.
Mr. Gilpin,
Yes.
Mr. Aaron
Yes.
Mr. Parker, congratulations. Also, we are. Sure, okay, after we just stop the. So, as Mr. Urbano presented our district report for 2025 and 6, may I have a motion to adopt superintendent's board, district board for 2025, 2026? Second. All in favor? No abstention? No objection? Good. Thank you. And Mr. Carabano, would you like to recognize the vice principal for our high school that was approved tonight?
Yes. I'd like to just briefly introduce Mr. Aldo Giardino, our new high school vice president. Mr. Giardino has a history here. He was our high school history teacher for quite some time. He was varsity tennis coach, arts advisor, and also was on the PD committee for professional development for teachers. He left Powell Park to go on to be a supervisor in 2 different districts, High Point and more recently Totowa. His references, I must say, were outstanding. From superintendents and principals who have worked with him, they had nothing but the highest praise. He went through a pretty competitive process. We had a good response to the vacancy. I want to thank Mr. Cipriano for leading that. There's a building committee, then there was a central office admin team committee, and then of course reference checks. And we really believe we have a high quality person, and we have been waiting a long time with the vice principal position, and I think it was worth the wait, Mr. Giardino. So welcome to Powell Park and welcome back to Palisades Park. I gave the background on our Lindbergh vice principal last time, so I'm not going to go through your background, Mr. Sarcone, but it's nice to see you here. Mr. Sarcone's first day as Lindbergh vice principal was today. Oh, second day. His second full day, and I know he's enjoying it. He put out a wonderful welcome message, and we're happy to have you with us as well, Mr. Sarcone.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Giardino, as well. And before open our meeting to the public, that can we do the new board member to be sworn? Can we have? Oh,
Do that.
Yeah.
Back.
Mr. Park?
Right. Swear you in, so if you'll raise your hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. That I will support the Constitution.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And and to the governments established in the United States
the government established in the United States
and this state under the authority of the people.
and this state under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And one more. I
I, Ray Park,
do solemnly swear that I
do solemnly swear that I
possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of the Board of Education
possess the qualifications prescribed for
by law,
by law the office of member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to statute 19:4-1,
pursuant to statute 19:4-1,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense
nor disqualified due to conviction of crime or offense
listed in NJS
listed in NJS
18A:12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
according to the best of my abilities. So help me God.
Congratulations. Mr. Park, you can join the board up on the
Would you sit
day.
over there? Now, may I have a motion to open our meeting to the public? I second. All in favor? So now our meeting is open to the public. Each speaker have 3 minutes. And please state your name and address. Ms. Rivera?
Rivera, I'm here on behalf of the PTA. I want to thank you for the official camera. The community relies on it, we need it. I do have a question, is that mic'd? Because with the phones, the community can't hear. And that's why we're constantly asking you guys to please speak up. Because when it's transmitted online, we cannot hear. The second thing is normally we do this, the PTA does this in writing, and there was a little oversight, but we are verbally requesting the use of the cafeteria at Edinburgh for November 21st for the first school dance, or first fall dance, November 21st, between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Carlos?
Mary Capote, so Portland Avenue. I have a question regarding, now maybe Mr. Dino to answer me. Are we gonna be able to have a softball coach for the oncoming spring, summer? Because I know we didn't have one yet, like for the girls softball. If we already have that, I have about the BP, I know we have it, welcome. And also, I have a question, maybe some of the members who vote for the new member. In my opinion, as a parent and a person who come here to every single meeting, why they pick a person like between the other candidate, Rotondo, nothing against you, that is more involved in the community, have a previous experience in board, being a board member, a teacher, and a parent. I would like to know why that was, we just want to bring the best candidate, of course. We got to trust in you guys, you pick the best one to make it a better point to what we're doing it and make it better. I would like to know, and I would like to know, maybe Anthony Kenny was the one who appointed. Maybe me as a parent, this is my first time that I know this, the person you picked. So if you could give me a little brief more about why in between.
You address it to me, please.
Oh, okay. You acting like a poor kid. So yeah.
Well, this is the rule.
Okay.
This is the rule and our policy.
Because the question is for Anthony King, so I'm talking to him. When
I'm going to
talking
recognize
some
him if he needs to answer, but please address it to the presiding officer first.
Okay.
Because you don't single out each board member. That's the policy and rule.
This is new?
No, it's not new. It always been like that.
Because
Yeah.
when I'm used to, when I'm talking, if I'm talking with you, I'm looking at you. If I'm talking to Anthony King, I'm gonna look at him.
Yeah, you can look at him, but don't give him direct question.
I said
You
if
don't
they can
single out
answer.
the
I never
board
said,
members.
I never said that they have to. I said if they can answer, because they have the right to say no. I want to know as a parent, what was the difference of, because, you know, my first time seeing him, I want to know if we picked the right person to be part of the board member. Because this time we don't have the right to vote for it, because it was a different way to do it. We could just sit in a chair. So we like had the right to know. Thank you.
Any other speaker?
I would just like to answer one of the questions regarding the softball situation. After Coach Klein resigned, assistant coach Mr. Santana took over and was voted in as the head coach in June. He took on another job at Pascack Valley. He resigned sometime in September officially, and we have posted the position for head and assistant softball coach, and we're currently looking. So that's the status at this moment. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
And no one's a bigger fan of softball than me, everyone.
Thank you.
And I will take the microphone question. So we did look at a more sophisticated system and got some pricing on it. But then I learned that we actually had a camera that the district already owned, so the cost was zero. And we're trying to do this in a cost-effective way. However, the sound is important. So we're trying this out first because there's no expense to the district. But if the quality is not good, we certainly may consider adding microphones. And thank you. I think you make a very good point there. So, but again, one of the goals is effective communication, and of course, hearing all of us is important, as well as the audience.
Yes. So my name is Nadine Masood. I live on Glen Avenue. I have more of like my opinion, I would say, other than a question. I kind of agree with Daenerys on voting. I just feel like nothing, you know, to be offensive, but we have seen Anthony Rotundo here every meeting. To me, I'm very upset because I feel like even watching the interviewing process, I feel like he gave more to the community. And as a mom in this community, I just feel like he was more equipped for the position. And I don't see how you all agreed on someone I've never seen before in this room. And that's all.
Any other speaker? In the back?
All the Tattlenberg School. I just want to know, where will the video be posted?
Christian, on the board, we could post it on the website?
It'll be on the website.
A link
Next to the
underneath the
agenda.
board drop down?
It'll be next to the agenda link.
Thank you.
Any other person in public? Would you like to speak any? If not, may I have a motion to close the public participation?
Second.
All in favor? So technical questions that you will cover, like camera things and. So to answer some questions regarding this vacancy position, that basically, we're, again, like, we always try to make things transparent, but always doesn't mean that always need to answer, but I like to make some comments on it. So there's some basic questions on interview in public. But before this meeting, the board have shared all the materials that the applicant submitted to. It includes the letter of the intent, their resume, and the board's search on the media, and other information that they have in town regarding the applicants as well. So we get through all the resources that we have. And also, Mr. Park is running for the 3-year term this year into general election as well. And since the election is uncontested, it's likely that he will join us in January as well too. So rather than just have a 2-month sit, then we thought that it's more effective to have the new board member start early, so they can be trained earlier.
But Rotundo also was looking long-term also. So,
This
like
is the Board of Education
I know
for
what
the
you're
2
saying.
months position.
yeah.
The term ends December 31st, 2025. And I wish Mr. Rotundo run for 3-year term next year, 2026, too, as he wished that he really wants to get involved with our school district. Thank you. May I have a motion to close our meeting? I'm sorry?
I don't think that'll be an issue. We have a board meeting before the dance,
2 days before, we have to plan 2 days before.
so we can give you an unofficial, as long as Ms. Parados, as long as there's no conflict, certainly we welcome the PTA holding a dance with plan, and the board will approve it at the next meeting.
Thank you.
But I will recommend to the board for approval.
May I have a motion to close our regular meeting tonight?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
No importa.